Hey friend, Graham here from the recordingrevolution.com, and today I'm going to share with you the top 3 biggest EQ mistakes I see people making in the home studio. All right, friend, we're at the very end of my 7-part EQ series, and this video is super important, probably my favorite one, because if you can avoid these mistakes, you'll get better sounding mixes, which means better sounding songs, which means you look awesome. Now, if you have made any of these mistakes, then welcome to the club. I am the first to go through all of these mistakes, and everything I share and teach here is usually born out of my initial pain and adversity. And my goal is to help you skip all that junk. So avoid making these mistakes, but don't feel bad if you've made them because you're joining a wonderful club that includes this guy. All right. EQ mistake number 3, and we'll go down in terms of importance, is trusting presets. Trusting presets. This is something everybody does when you start out. Why? Because they're there and they seem magical and easy. You grab your EQ plugin, you put it on your track. Let's say it's a male vocal that you're recording, and you grab a preset that says male vocal EQ. Why not? Makes total sense. And what it does is it applies a specific EQ curve that the plugin developers have said is a good EQ curve for a male vocal. The problem is they have no idea what your vocal sounds like. No idea. So what is the point of a preset of EQ boosts and cuts when they haven't heard your singer? They haven't heard the microphone he is singing on. They haven't heard the song that he's singing. They haven't heard the vowels he's using. They don't know what the other tracks in the song sound like, so they don't know what they need that vocal to do against the other tracks. They know nothing. So the preset actually has hardly any benefit to you. What they are doing is making suggestions of typical boosts and cuts on a male vocal, which makes sense in one regard, because as you mix more and EQ more, you will stumble across some patterns and some go-to starting points. But man, they aren't really that helpful because every vocal is different, and this applies to anything. I'm using vocal as the example. Every guitar is different. Every snare drum I've ever recorded or mixed sounds different. How can a snare drum preset make any difference in my mix? It can only hurt. It can't really help. So please don't trust a preset. It sounds exciting, it sounds fun, it sounds easy, like there's a magical shortcut, but guess what? There are no magical shortcuts. That's why you're watching this video, so you can get the result you want, because you've probably figured out that there are no shortcuts. EQ yourself. You have the steps, you have this video series, walk through them, you can do this. Okay, big EQ mistake number 2 is trusting what the EQ curve looks like. I love this one. I've said this literally to myself. Hey, that EQ looks about right. Wait, that EQ looks about right? EQ has nothing to do with looks. Mixing has nothing to do with looks. Audio has nothing to do with our eyeballs. It's all an illusion. It's all audio. It's all sound. That's the problem with mixing in the digital world, is we have stuff to distract us with our eyes. And what you'll do is find yourself making like EQ moves because you'd like to see a certain bump there or a certain cut there. You almost have this visual connection with the sound based off of experience. You know where the harsh frequencies are, maybe at 2-3K, so you've cut them before. So maybe visually you feel better when that's cut out. Maybe you like the actual lift of the EQ on the shelf boost. It looks good just boosting a little bit there, so you feel better, or you think you hear it when you see it. There have been so many studies done that our hearing is actually impaired by visual stimuli. In fact, there is more brain activity when our eyes are closed listening to a piece of music than when our eyes are open. So actually, looking at the screen while you EQ can be dangerous. Now, you need to look at the screen to make your EQ move, but what I would suggest to you is make an EQ move that you think is right, then get your mouse or your whatever over the bypass button, close your eyes, and turn it on and off, and see if it really is helping without any visual stimuli. Don't trust what the EQ curve looks like. Who cares what it looks like? What matters is, what does it sound like? And the number 1 EQ mistake I see people making in the home studio is assuming you need EQ on every track. This is classic. EQ is awesome. People like Graham are telling you EQ is the most powerful tool in your plug-in toolkit. And so the tendency is to slap an EQ on every single track and start fixing or enhancing. The assumption being that every track could be a little bit better, so why not put a little bit of EQ on it? My friend, I don't want you to do that. What I want you to do is to ask yourself, does this track need any help? If it doesn't need EQ or compression or whatever you would put on it. The goal isn't to process stuff. The goal is to actually get out of the mixing phase without doing anything. That's my goal, at least. I record in such a way that I shouldn't have to do any mixing later. Now, I always have to do something, but that's my goal. I don't want to create work for myself. I don't want to just mix all day. I want my song to sound awesome. EQ can help me get there if there's a problem, muddiness, boominess, not enough top end, not sitting well, the other tracks being covered up by the tracks. Okay, so let's solve those problems. But if it sounds good, don't put an EQ on it. Resist the urge. Don't get in the habit like I've had where you're slapping an EQ on everything and doing something, at least something to every track. Don't assume you need to touch everything, my friend. Just do the bare minimum, what the track needs, and the mixing process will not only go faster because you're not wasting time on EQ you don't need to use, but your mix will sound better because of the less processing you use, the fewer plugins you use, the more natural your audio sounds. There you have it. The 3 big EQ mistakes I see people making in the home studio: trusting presets, looking at the EQ curve instead of what it sounds like, and assuming you need EQ on every track. Now, before you go, I have something for you. I don't want you to miss this. I've talked through 7 key points, 7 key steps about how to process EQ, how to think about EQ, how to use EQ in this whole mini series. It's a lot of information. Simple, but it's a lot. So what I wanted to do was make it easy for you to bring it all to mind. I don't want you to have to watch through these videos over and over again when you're in the middle of a mix. You don't have time for that. You're trying to make your song sound awesome. So I've put all 70 steps together into a checklist for you. It's all available at eqchecklist.com. Click that link in the video or below the video and go there right now. You can download it. It's all there in a PDF, real easy. The goal here is download it, print it out if you're old school, have it on your phone if you're new school, but have it somewhere close so that when you're mixing and you're grabbing an EQ and you're forgetting, wait, so how much does Graham say to boost versus cut? What was level matching again? What was that other mistake he talked about? What is a Q? What is a high pass filter? If you get stuck on any of those questions, it's all there in the PDF, walks you through all the steps we've talked about, all the things I've shared with you in this video series, plus some tips to consider in a nice, easy, convenient document. So go to eqchecklist.com, download the guide as my gift to you. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being a part of the recordingrevolution.com. Subscribe to the videos if you like things like this, and I'll see you on another video soon.